testup.io, the easiest test automation tool on the web. Variables and data. Today we'll be discussing variables and data. This will be split into three main sections. First, how to use the clipboard. Whenever you do something with data, you compute something, you will have to put your data through the clipboard, and I'll show you how. The next thing is runtime variables. This is very similar to how you program normally. You are setting and reading variables during runtime. And the third part will be test variables. This is data that you pull from the outside. It might contain variables from your build pipelines. It might be data that you stored somewhere, or you might just reuse data from one of your previous runs. Okay, let's get started. I have opened the editor with our usual test application. What is the easiest way to get some values into the clipboard? Well, we insert, make a swipe over some region of text, play it, and then followed by a copy command. Now, where is the data? It's in the clipboard, but where can we find it? There's a data tab here. You will find the runtime variable clipboard, and it contains the value click. You'll also find it in the control tab with a little preview of the clipboard value here. Now, what other methods do we have to fill values into the clipboard? There is the eval statement. Eval, you can read and write to the clipboard. It's a PHP command, and we can, for example, read the clipboard value like this. Concatenate is with some suffix, play it, and we will see that the new value is in the clipboard. The next way to use values in the clipboard is our OCR command that is here and topic of a separate video. Now, how can we store these values from the clipboard into a variable for later use? For this, we again issue an eval command. We can use set, for example, var name. We can optionally give a value and directly store a value into that variable. But if we do nothing, it just puts the clipboard value into this variable. We can see it in the data tab. The clipboard and the variable have the same value. Now, let's get this variable back into the clipboard by first erasing the clipboard, evaluating something else. We see clipboard and variable contain different values. Go to control, evaluate, and make get var name. That's a safe way to get it. If I mistype my variable name here, I will get null. Or if I'm absolutely sure that this variable exists, I can use the PHP $ notation and also get the variable back. We see from the data tab, the variable name is back into our clipboard. We can then click here, type here, and paste the value into the text field. So that's how you use the clipboard and how you use runtime variables. So the next topic is test variables. These are variables with values that can be fed from the outside. For this, we go into the data tab and find this test case section here. So here are the different sources of variable. In this case, we have none, but we can add them for this test. So let's say we add an input 1 and fill it with a value 1, 2, 3. If we go to the control tab, evaluate it, and say, for example, input 1, then input 1 will be in our clipboard. Or if I add, for example, input 1 plus 5, then this value is in the clipboard. If you go to the data tab, you can change these values while editing, but during runtime, they remain constant. So what other sources do we have to set these values? Now, the first thing is if we create a successor of this test, and that's what I'm going to do now. Here I have created a successor test. Successor. I choose the successor from the using clipboard. I start editing it, and let's have a look into the data tab. We have a variable from our predecessor, which is 1, 2, 3. I cannot change it anymore. It's set from the outside. But I can override it in this test case. Now, if I set it here, this one is stroked out and we have a new value. Let's say we set it with 1000 and go to play, run this test, and you will see that the input 1 is now chosen from our successor test. If you go here, you will find in data 1005 from our input. So this input is overwritten, and we see the predecessor value is overwritten by the test case value. Now, what other sources can we have to provide data here? For this, let's say this test case is now 1000, and I'll change it to 2000 and press 1000, done. And now I edit, set it to 2000, and run it. Then now we have two different recordings. One was 1000 and one was 2000. This is very useful that when we have both recordings here, let's say I open this old recording, I run it with 1000. Then I have the more recent recording, I run it with 2000. Now I want to rerun my test with the old section. So I go here and open an editor, edit, open an editor, and now you see the data tab has three different sources. The predecessor sets the value with 123. The successor, the main test, sets the value with 2000, but it's overwritten with a value from the recording, which is 1000. So this is how you set tests within a test app. But now you want to provide data from the outside. You want to put in values from your build pipeline. And that's what we will discuss next. Okay, let me open our testup.io homepage. From our homepage, you will find the documentation settings. From there, you go to integrations, and from integrations, you find CI/CD pipeline integration. This is an example for GitLab, but trust me, it works the same way or almost the same way with any other pipeline. Because what you will find in step number 4 is that apart from all these security keys, you will find a curl command that is valid for every single pipeline that is out there. And the curl command starts the test from either all tests or tests that you collected in a schedule, and you can override these variables from yet another source. And that is described here. You have the variable fields, and there you can set the variables that you want to set as you like. And there you can put all kinds of values inside. And those override the tests, and you will find them in the recording that these values are set. So we'll plan to have more data sources in the future. You will be able to pull in variables from the schedule and variables from external data set, but that's not live yet. Please like and subscribe to get the updates. What are the new data sources and when they will come in? If you have any questions, just drop us a message. I hope that helped, and I hope you liked it and come back. Thank you very much.